Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So in this one, we're going to play Trash or Grab, the game where we check the weekly and golden vendors and so on to see are the items worth grabbing. We hop into Cyrodiil, the Infinite Archive, Scalarium, and so much more. As always, this is recorded on the weekend, so things do change if you're watching in the future. This video itself is recorded on the 5th of July 2025 during the Vengeance test campaign on PC and on consoles right now. For the Golden Vendor herself, if you're ever unsure, she can be found in Cyrodiil in Northern High Rock Gate on DC. If you're on AD, she's down in the Western Elsewhere Gate, and if you're in the Ebonheart Pat, she's over in the Southern Morrowind Gate. As always, I focus from a PvP perspective, but touch upon key PvE aspects where appropriate. The vendor this week is a bit unusual. You will see that you can interact with her, but you can't buy anything, and that's because of the current event. So what that does mean is that this week is a bit of a flop, but there's other things to check. And so if you want to stay up to date with the series, when there's good weeks and bad weeks, then do subscribe. And if you would like what I do with this sort of series and stuff, then likes and comments are really appreciated. I also want to say a massive thanks to YouTube and Patreon members who support the content. They get early access to videos, exclusive builds and guides, and much more. If you want to support the channel, there's details down below. We're now going to hop on over to the Infinite Archive in Apocrypha and see what's worth grabbing there, if anything at all. As for the archive itself, they use their own currency, so you do need to keep a couple of this on stock. I'd always recommend about 15,000, and you just get this by playing the game. Once inside, you want to go as far east as you can, and you're looking for a vendor called File It All. Their stock rotates week on week, typically Tuesday to Tuesday, and they are selling a few things. You've got the lead for the Saint and Seducer mythic, which is a very good mythic for PvP. The lead itself is quite easy to get though, so I wouldn't rush to buy this. You can just farm this much easier. It's worth saving the fortunes on this case. Your Engine Guardian, which looks pretty cool if you like that, but it's cosmetic, so I'd probably skip it. You then have some scripts for scribing, which is awesome. So you've got Berserk, Bleed, Immobilize, and Crusader's Defiance. Berserk's not really worth it, in all honesty. You can just run Camo Hunter. Bleed, you got Bleed skills anyway. You could use this if you want to get Hemorrhaging or like Smash 2H, but I would probably skip this. Immobilize, you could use this on Soul Burst to have an AoE Immobilize or Ulfrid's Contingency. So that means you do have a little bit of choice with crowd control. It gives you like talons essentially. It's not essential. With subclass, and it's even less useful now. You then have Crusader's Defiance, which it's okay again, it's not the best. So my suggestion would be skip these, save your money, it's not worth it. We're going to hop on over to the Scalarium now and see what they sell there. The Scalarium is part of the Gold Road DLC, so you need access to this. But if you don't have it already, they are making this feature free for everybody in July as part of a Golden Pursuit. So if you're unsure what's going to happen, just look for a Golden Pursuit in a couple weeks, follow that, and you'll get this access here. Once inside the Scalarium, you'll need to upgrade it, which is very important, or the vendor will not appear, but you only have to do this once per account. So with that in mind, just make sure you get the Indrik unlocked at least. This will give you an achievement. Once the achievement's done, the vendor then spawns from there on out. The vendor is called Fernandel. He's over towards the east once again, and he sells a range of different stuff. These are normally Grimoires, which are always for sale, and these scripts do change week on week. He has Interrupt, which isn't worth it in my opinion. Crushing Shock's just better. Poison Damage, there's not many good poison sets, so I wouldn't rush to buy this, and you can't use this on many spammables, including Willed Soul, so again, don't get this. Class Mastery, this is always here, you have to get the Signature of Class achievement, so just ignore this one. You should always have this if you can buy it. And then Knight's Valor, which again isn't great. So all in all, these are pretty bad scripts. I wouldn't rush to buy them. We're now going to hop on over to the last place, which is the Imperial City. And here we are looking for a vendor who sells a range of stuff. As with the series, as you can tell, I do cover all the key stuff from gameplay perspective. So just note that if you are like looking for cosmetics and stuff, that's not what this channel is about. When you get into the Imperial City, you're looking for the Fire and Anvil sign. You'll see the flag above the center as I walk past, and then you're looking for all the shop merchants. We're looking for the merchant that has Telvar Merchant under the name. For DC, it's Karsgula, I think it's pronounced. I might have butchered that. And she sells a range of different items and some leads and some scripts. The items themselves are Endurance and Valiant. In all honesty, just skip these. You can buy these from other players. They are not worth 90,000 Telvar. So my recommendation was just skip all of the jewelry. It is not worth buying. There's very, very few times where you actually want to buy this, because you could just use gold, which is a lot easier to get than Telva. For the leads, you have access to one for the Pale Order and one for Esoteric Environmental Greaves. Pale Order, as you do damage, you heal, but your teammates do less healing to you, and the more you have, the less healing you get from this ring, and no healing from allies. So it's kind of like a solo player healing set. It's quite good for PvE, for like 1 bar solo builds, or the like one just solo playing. Very good for that. If you're in PvP, you could use this on a dot spec if you're playing solo. It's not terrible, it's pretty okay actually there, but there are better mythics for PvP. The Environmental Greaves, as you have lots of stamina, you take a bit of damage, it will then reduce the damage by 50%. If you are below 50% stamina, it stops doing that. It's a very good, very powerful mythic, but it's very expensive because it uses 1,000 stamina per hit. So if you get hit 3 times in a second, that's 3,000 stamina you've lost, which is a lot of mitigation. But it's also a lot of stam drain, so it's like basically auto dodge roll, but you are actually being hit still. So do factor that in. I personally think this is a good mythic. I'll try and get this. The script itself and like the lead is, you can farm this easily enough, so don't waste your money. This is a very easy lead to get. For the scripts, we then have Defile, Generate Ult, Trauma, and Gladiator's Tenacity. The Defile is not worth it. You can get Defile on other skills. The only time you want to use this is if you have a spare slot on Willed Soul, if you're like on a sniper, for example, but even then it's very niche, it's not worth the extra money, so it's going to be expensive, just don't waste it. You have Generate Ult, which you can get heroism anyway from Sword and Shield skills, so skip this. Trauma is nice because it reduces people's healing. It kind of puts like a heal debuff on them, so if they get extra healing, it has to be taken off first before they actually get the health. Again, it only works on a few niche skills, so for that reason I wouldn't rush to get this. And then we have Gladiator's Tenacity. This is fantastic, this is really worth getting. So this basically reduces your damage taken by 8% with Ultra's Contingency, and because of that, you become really tanky. Get this if you can, it's very, very good. But that is the vendors, guys. There's a lot of like, stuff. I have gone back on this video twice, and been like deciding, do I make this video or not? Do I, don't I? But I've been keeping up to date with the series. I want you guys to see what happens on the event, because, you know, it might happen again in the future. And more importantly, it lets you know what's to buy or not. As always, I'm going to go through skills and stuff and builds on the channel with all sorts of stuff coming out. So if you want to see that kind of guides for builds and stuff, there's many things planned. 1 bar stuff, 2 bar stuff, lots of cool things, including a werewolf. So subscribe if you haven't done so already, because I will go through all the skills and builds and stuff, as she said. And if you like what I do here, then likes and comments are greatly appreciated. I was going to say a massive thanks once again to the YouTube and Patreon members who support. If you want to support, there's details below. But as always, I'll catch you next one. Thanks for watching, and bye!